The truth about the Epstein files. By now, you've all heard of the Epstein files that just recently came out. There was over 3 million documents, and I think still 3 million hidden, totaling in 6 million files. And a lot has been exposed, and a lot is coming to the light. The truth is coming to the light. And I just want to give my thoughts on the whole situation and just where things are headed in general. So, we've known about Epstein for a while, right? I mean, the guy supposedly offed himself back in 2019, right? Supposedly he supposedly killed himself back in 2019, but now there's even evidence that he is even alive. Like, he might even be alive, and he might be just roaming somewhere in America, and people are just shocked. And honestly, if you asked me these questions and you showed me this stuff like years ago, I wouldn't have believed it. Or I guess majority of the people wouldn't have believed it. But now that things are coming to the light and now the truth has been exposed, a lot of these so-called conspiracy theorists are now actually the truth tellers, right? It's the people that don't want these conspiracy theorists to expose the truth, or the actual people that are trying to hide the truth behind the scenes. But now that we all know what's going on, right, we don't tend to believe the media as much, right? Because they're always trying to feed a certain narrative and a certain lie. And when people bring up like individual evidences and actual things that, okay, starts to make sense once you open up your mind a little bit, right? These so-called conspiracy theories are actually coming true. And so with this whole Epstein case, right, we all know, right, he's a PDF file, he's done atrocities, and he's had several connections within Hollywood, within the elites, the globalists, like, I can't even say certain words because it's on YouTube, right? But you get the idea. There's this whole global ring of people, and that the world is actually being controlled by the top 1% of the 1%. In fact, it's being controlled by the 0.1% of people, right? People like Epstein and all of his followers. I'm not going to name it here, but I'm sure you know, right? And so it's like all of this is happening, right? And so it's like, what's the truth, right? Like, what's actually going on behind the scenes? What's like the key takeaway here, right? And I think the key takeaway at the end of the day is that the world really is being run by these top 0.1% of people with huge connections, billions of dollars of worth of wealth, right? They're the people who are puppeteering and controlling the narrative. And like right now, the fact that we can even have this conversation means that there's still a form of free speech. But if this continues, and if the truth is still being suppressed, and that people are going to be putting their own narratives and spins out there, then who knows where this world is going to be headed. It might be headed down a path like George Orwell's 1984, to where you can't even have free speech, and whatever thoughts you have, just eliminate them. Just listen to the narrative, right? Listen to what the big brother, the government, has to tell you. And so how does that like relate to us, right? The common folk, the average ordinary people, right? And on a larger scale, it doesn't really like affect us, but on an individual level, of course it like kind of affects us, right? And by that I mean, you're reading this stuff and people are just like going with like the crazy reactions, right? And like, to sum it up, right, people's reaction are like, damn, bro, like that's crazy, or I didn't see that coming, but or oh wait, no, I had an idea, but hey, who knows, like he was actually on the list, right? But that's crazy, like that's crazy, right? And that's kind of what I'm saying as well. But again, doesn't mean that your own life is like not as important. It's like, no, at the end of the day, you're still going to focus on yourself. You're still going to, get your money up and try to build up yourself, right? Because that's kind of like the only way to combat these people, right? It's to make yourself better, and it's to grow the people's awareness of this stuff, right? Because they control the masses by their influence, and knowing that they're NPCs. And so because of that, it makes them a lot easier to people to get them to listen to what they say, right? But then once people actually start to wake up to this stuff and they actually don't feed into this narrative and they actually take that individuality, right? That's when they start to lose control. But that also can go into a bad direction, because once they lose control of those common people, they're like, okay, well, if we can't influence you, if we can't convince you with our words, then we'll convince you with our violence, aka the pew-pews, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, it could head down like this 1984 kind of path, right? And so, like, the only solution to this is to, one, spread this awareness, right? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody at this point knows, right? But also, two, to then focus on yourself and to make as much money as possible for you and for your future self. Of course, money isn't everything. Money ain't gonna solve all your problems. Like we've seen with Epstein and all his high value clients, right? Like, they all got all the money in the world and they still commit all those atrocities, right? And so, right? And so it's like, what then? Like, they do these taboo things, it's because they've already gained everything that they could with money. And so because of that, they're like, well, how do we one up this? How do we make this into another thing that we can indulge, right? It's to indulge in the lawlessness. It's to indulge in the things that by law they tell you can't. And so because of that, that's how they get the power. That's how they get the satisfaction. It's very, very twisted and it's very messed up, right? But you and I know better than that. You and I have morals. And of course, money, there's a saying where money doesn't actually change you, but money just really shows you who you truly are on the inside. And yeah, I guess in some way that could be true. That could absolutely be true. But even with that being said, right, to future-proof yourself and to help yourself out, you got to be, influencing yourself, right? Like, that's why I'm telling y'all, like, social media is the ultimate, like, way to make money and to future-proof yourself, because things like this, AI, and just how everything is being more digitized and, like, internet is just taking over, like, you have to go with social media. And again, like, that's just what I think personally, but I do think that everyone should, like, establish and build themselves, like, a personal brand, right? Like, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, right? And from that, you make money, right? And then you invest that back into yourself, and then you help yourself out, so on and so forth, right? And so that's basically my thoughts on the whole Epstein situation. It's crazy, all these files and all these, PDF files being exposed, right? That's that. And yeah, man, we just got to keep doing our own thing, keep focusing on yourself, right? Be aware, right? I'm not telling you guys to not be aware of this stuff, right? Be aware of this, right? Know that, but don't let it, like, over affect you in your life, right? Like, you still gotta, do whatever you gotta do. And so be aware of that, and just, I'm not telling y'all to move on, right? Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, that's what the media would tell you to say. It's like, oh yeah, like, guys, like, this stuff, just move on from this. Like, oh, we got like bigger fish to fry. But it's like, truly, like, what bigger fish is there to fry? Like, is this not the biggest fish that I'm frying in the kitchen right now? Like, I feel like this is a pretty big situation, right? But again, know the situation, spread the situation, and just focus on yourself at the end of the day. So yeah, if you did go on to enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.